What's up? What's up? What's up? Man, y'all sure caught me slipping today. Like for real, for real. Uh I don't know what the heck was going on. Uh Hopefully my guest gonna my co-host gonna join me. Ain't gonna just leave me out there. And I'm struggling and I'm struggling and today is the 4th of June. It is 2025. What y'all got going on today? What kind of shenanigan and can we get into? What y'all thinking? Because I think we can get into some things as soon as I can figure out how to make this Facebook thing work like it's supposed to. All right, so I guess y'all seen the topics. What is in your wallet? Very interesting question, I think. It has been brought to my attention that we do a lot of crazy, crazy shit. And what is comical slash funny to me is how we try to act as if money don't mean a thing. And I'm just trying to figure out, when did we become that much in denial? No, everything ain't about money. Everything ain't this. Everything ain't that. And there's some truth to that. Everything ain't about money. Dot, dot, dot. When you got it. When you ain't got it. What's up, Mark? When you ain't got money, everything and then some is about money. When you got money, a lot of things ain't about money because you bring a different dynamic to the table. You're not stressing about certain things. And, it agitates me when people who ain't got money try to shame people who do have money. And, one of the things that really, really gets my goat. What up, Big J? Hey, man, who want to come on the show? One of y'all come on the show. You know what I'm saying? Who want to come on the show? I need some help. But why do we act like that? And don't get me wrong, having money is not the same. It's not even remotely the same as being rich. Having money. And I was talking to some people about it, and everybody wanted to act blonde. You can make all the money you want to. If you're not saving it or putting it to get use, then what good is it? Lots of people who have money don't make a lot, but they spend even less. See, my partner J Mo, he probably a little bit older than me. I think Mark is a little bit younger than me. But one of the things that we have to do is, dang, they called me about my car. Let me see. I might have to take a quick break here. Let me see if I can do this. Just mute myself. Oh, shit, I have to call him back. And see if one of y'all was on the show with me, I could just let y'all do this while I answer the call about my vehicle. Anyway, having money is about how much you can save, not how much you have to spend. And as I was saying, I would bet that when me and J Mo and Mark was growing up, we didn't live a life of luxury and its extremism because I ain't even gonna say we struggle. We didn't keep trying to live outside of, I want to live outside of their means. Think that somebody owes them something when you ain't put the work in. I come from an era where minimum wage was 335. And at 335, back in the day, I don't remember a lot of my people having their own place in nice neighborhoods. Now, some of them had their own place, but it wasn't a nice neighborhood.
DV2 trying to trick me into running the show. See what's going on here. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
What's going on? But
it's all good, man.
This is crazy. All right, anyway.
You ain't got no video?
I'm glad you're here. Yeah. You keep saying ain't nothing hooked up, but I'm like, it gotta be hooked up. Shit.
This is all black.
Background ain't hooked up, but oh well.
Well, you just feeling black today, that's all, man.
But you can see me now, right?
It's coming. Oh, there you go. What's up, man?
On the background, and I don't know what happened just then.
You down
anyway.
You in your cave, man. It's all good.
We're gonna act like that was an extended commercial break. So anyway, as I was saying, and now I got more here. When we grew up, we didn't have a lot of money either, but we didn't live to excess. We wanted shit. Nobody, I ain't gonna say nobody. Most people, especially brothers who want to be somebody or something, we don't want to live in the hood. We don't want to have roommates. But that was kind of the way the world was. So again, it wasn't about how much money we had. It was about how much money we could save up. So we got roommates so we could save money. We got hooped so we could save money. We didn't go out and get a car that was going to cost us $300, $400, $500 that we couldn't afford because we didn't want to drive a bucket. See, when you listen to all the old school rap music, you don't hear about people driving fancy cars because we knew we couldn't afford them. We got something that was functional. We got the Hondas, we got the Tercels, we got all the little 2 doors, and one door might not open. We had to roll up windows because we couldn't all afford the electric windows. That was a package that we weren't ready for. So when people keep complaining about people who got money, ask yourself, why do they have money? Maybe, I ain't saying it's true now because it could be wrong, but maybe they got money because they didn't blow all their money on crazy stuff.
It's possible, yeah.
Maybe they was more interested in saving money than spending a bunch of money. And this is why you gotta have that mindset to make this happen. So when people say, "Oh man, everybody keep talking about they take money for this," most things do take money. Most things do take money. I don't see no getting around that, for real. But don't be mad at people who got it because you refuse to put yourself in a position where you can get it because you got a job. You got a job making minimum wage. Who thought of that? And with this minimum wage job, you want one of these $40,000 challenges. Again, these are choices that you got to make. So now you got my favorite job. You're a waiter or something that don't pay good, and you depending on everybody else to pay you. Did I freeze again?
A little, but you're good. Okay. You're still moving, just a little.
I was trying to get me a background, but it don't like it's gonna happen. So y'all just gonna have to look at my green curtain. So anyway, as I'm here with Mo now, I mean, Mo can tell. I'm sure Mo went through some struggles. We didn't come out of high school wanting the best of everything. That I don't even think that was a legitimate thought process for most of us. We worked. We had minimum wage jobs, but we had minimum wage lifestyles too. We weren't trying to stay in the suburbs. We stayed in the hood till we got something. I don't get how y'all want to get these $50,000 cars. Y'all stand in these. I looked at something the other day, and it said a guy is renting a room out, a room in a house for $1,800.
Oh God!
A room in a room.
Jesus.
But then I went and looked at apartments. Crazy shit. You can get a 1-bedroom apartment in an LK neighborhood. It's $1,500.
Oh man.
The crazy thing is, You can get a 2-bedroom in this same neighborhood, and it's $1,900. So think now, you could pay $1,500 by yourself, or you could pay less than $1,000 if you get a roommate. See, right there, you just saved yourself $500. And if you don't have that mindset, guess what? You ain't gonna never have no money because you're blowing money. And let's be honest with the way y'all crying. If you're paying that much by yourself, you really just need a car to sleep in. Because all you're doing is sleeping. You're sleeping and working. You're sleeping and working. Why do you really need a good place if you got to work 75, 80 hours every week just to make ends meet?
And let me chime in on this because one of the things I had to come to terms with, this is one of the things, because you talking to a particular set of people, because one of the things I had to come to terms with is not everybody wants to live a certain way, and not everybody wants to live a long time. Some people just want to have that short route and live it up. I know a lot of those people. Some people looking for the longevity. They want to get something stable and something that'll last for a long time. So, I looked at it like, okay, first of all, you got to decide what you want to do. If you want longevity, you want to live a long time, you want to make decent money and live a good life, then you need to structure your life a certain way. For the people that just want that fast, quick money and they just want to, they're just thinking about now, I mean, that's a personal decision, and I've seen both sides. I made my decision. I said, I want to do something more than just what everybody else was doing. I could just, like DVP said, I came up in the hood, conditions pretty bad, but I had made my decisions. I could have ran in the street with everybody else, but I chose a different path, and that was just that.
But see, back in my day, them J's came out from Converse. That was the thing.
Oh yeah,
that was the first leather sneakers. Them was the joints. You had to have a pair of them J's. You had to, even in the hood.
Yep.
And I want to say when them J's came out, see, y'all ain't gonna understand this. When them J's came out, I want to say it was $50. That was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, it was. And listen, especially in the hood, not even in the hood, especially in the hood. They wasn't buying those in the suburbs during that time. I couldn't afford a pair, so I didn't have them. But yeah, that was it.
And but as they say, see, them was goals. Them was goals. That was something that you knew that you was gonna have to work for.
Right.
We ain't just come up getting a pair. We out there washing cars. We out there taking people trash out. We taking people grocery to the car for them. We doing everything we can to try to get a pair of these J's. Now, if you want to know about real violence, once you got them J's, let somebody step on them J's.
Oh man.
Hey, and I'm gonna tell you, see, y'all don't know nothing about it. This is how serious it was. When somebody stepped on them J's, before the fight started, you took them J's off. You fight barefooted because you're not finna get them J's no more dirty. You put them J's. Hey, that's why we're premeditated then, because you took them J's off. You was not finna scuffling them.
Oh yeah.
Them J's didn't see no basketball time. None.
Yeah.
None.
And no creases, nothing. None of that.
When you wore them J's, see, it was a protocol for them J's. You wore them J's, you had to have starched jeans. You couldn't wear them old scruffy, straight out the washer, straight out the dryer jeans. You was going, they had them hard creases where you could pass somebody and cut a vein on them.
No doubt.
It was rules for that.
No doubt.
And those of us don't see hiring them out, they laughing, but they know I'm telling the truth. This is what we did with them. Because when you seen them J's, if you ever want to see young, truly young grown men shed a tear, on that box with that J's came in, and it's and I don't want none of y'all to get mad at me, but it's like how a lot of dudes feel when they have their first child. They're a little somber. It's bittersweet. They happy, but that little teardrop fall because they got them a pair of J's.
Oh yeah.
Woo! My mama got me a pair. Well, I would have painted the whole building that we stayed in. The
Sistine
whole building.
Chapel.
Not in them J's though. You know, we had a pair of them Kmart Jeepers. We had what did they call them Jeepers from Kmart? They weren't Jeepers back then. They was called something else. Mark, I know you know what I'm talking about. How are you from the what did they call them shoes? They was indestructible. You could put them shoes in a shredder and the shredder would break.
Oh,
They was in it. You was gonna outgrow them. You was never gonna outwear them.
wow.
You was gonna outgrow them. That's why they could stay in your family for like 30, 40 years or more. You couldn't have. They were like Tonka trucks. You couldn't do nothing to them.
Man,
You could set them on fire. All they were gonna do was get dark. They weren't gonna melt nothing. But the point is we stayed within our means. We stay. You know, when we splurged on them J's, we didn't want nothing else for the rest of the year. If you got them J's, that was Christmas, birthday, Easter, Father's Day, Son's Day, any holiday. It was a combination of all of them. But we knew, oh yeah, them Pro Wings. Oh my God, I hate them. I still hate them things to this day. Every time I see a pair, I have PTSD. But we knew how to live within our means. It didn't bother us to be roommates. It didn't bother us to carpool. Boy, every time we went somewhere, and what the little song say about somebody riding in the passenger side? Oh, we riding 4, 5, 6 deep. Cause everybody ain't got the money, so you know we got to get together and pool the resource so we can get gas. But these are the things that we did so that we could become financially able to do some of the stuff that we wanted to do. This new generation, and it's so crazy. I was reading an article how lazy they are. They come into this world with a sense of entitlement, and I get it. And more, I want you to think about this. Hiram, Mark, I want y'all to think about this. A lot of these grown-ups now who came from the generation or two below us, if we're honest, most of them came up in the crack epidemic and had absentee parents. So they never got that. So they was already mad at the world. Yeah. And that's why they feel like so much because they weren't raised like we were. Most of us have a work ethic and these young people can't match our work ethic. Because somebody always was trying to make their life better because I ain't gonna say all of it was out of guilt or remorse, but a lot of it was. But a lot of them didn't have proper rearing. And you know, it ain't no fault of theirs. But I was reading an article, and the guy was saying, you know, he'd rather hire 3 old people, you know, over 50 than to deal with any of these people under 40. So you can't get no work out of them. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, I just want to jump in, man, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and you know, I sat and I thought about this for a while to try to understand what's going on here. This is my conclusion, right or wrong. This is my conclusion. These are my thoughts. This is what I came up with. One thing I noticed was at work, that new generation. When I was at work, you know, you talk about DVP. They don't put their shoulders to the grindstone. They don't get it done. You know, at work, I saw the kind of the same thing. They kind of just got through, right? And later on, I'm trying to figure this out because I don't just see stuff and then just accept it for what it is. I'm trying to understand why the new generation is like that. And here's my conclusion. This is what I came up with. No, they're definitely not like us. You know, one of the things that I noticed was different was the fact that they don't have a high tolerance. They don't put up with a lot of crap that our generation did. If my I was in a group, and if they got talked to the wrong way, if they got given the wrong assignment, whatever, and they talked about it and nothing was done, they leave. They just get up and leave. You know, in our day, no, we stay for the long haul. So definitely there's generational differences, and I'm not saying they're all bad. You know, sitting there and tolerating something because you have to. You know, in our day we had to. Well, in their day, they feel like they have options, and I think that's a good thing. You know, there's enough Black people who feel like they're in a cell, not being behind a cage. You know, you feel like your hands are strapped. You can't even get anything done, and you got to tiptoe around your boss so you can get to keep your job. Well, new generation ain't like that. They take risks. They talk back. They'll you can't push them and force them to do stuff and work like a workhorse. That's not what's getting done. And I'll just tell you personally, I like it because they don't settle and they're not scared.
Why they ain't got nothing?
That's another side of it. I didn't say they save. I'm just telling you about the job side. Yeah, in terms of saving, that's probably a whole different thing too. They probably don't think that far, And then I don't know how many of them, think about it this way. I don't know if you're just talking about the Black people. I don't know if you're talking about just young people in general. But just think about this: where would that information come from to tell them? Listen, you got to prepare, you got to save, you got to do this. You can't just get out here and just start spending your money and doing whatever you want to do. Where's that come from? You know what I'm saying? You don't get that in school. The only way you're going to get that is some responsible parents tell you that that's something you need to do.
It came from that lie, YOLO, you only live once. And I hear y'all. I hear you. But this is the scary part for me, for some of y'all. I get living for the day, but what happened if you make it to tomorrow?
Right.
Yeah. Oh shit! I wasn't prepared.
You living on the street.
Why weren't you prepared? Because you sitting out there doing all this crazy shit for no reason. And like I said, it's different out there today. It's different. What's so different? What's so different?
Yeah, the struggle. So this is the thing. I just had a niece that just graduated. This graduation season, and me and my wife sitting here thinking, about the world that she has to deal with. Her world is different than the world we dealt with. We know what we dealt with. This is a different world. I don't even know if I would know how to navigate in this world, but everything is stressful. Trying to get a job now. I mean, I don't even know what the job market is like now. And the political environment we're dealing with, all the issues that are, out there, man, I don't envy somebody that's doing that right now. But maybe it's not everything I'm thinking. It could be better. I don't know.
What? Okay, and you say, not you, Hiram, you say they don't value longevity work. Is it they don't value it, they don't know it? Because again, as much as I didn't like some of the things with the sheriff's department, and I swear some days I wanted to get up and go, but I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. And I knew if I could get to this stage, I was going to get a check the rest of my life. Because I look at some of them, I told people, quit bouncing from job to job chasing money. Because at some point, you're going to want to quit working. But every time you keep bouncing, and it's cute, because some of y'all actually are trying to save money. But you're not prepared for that medical emergency. You're not prepared for something truly catastrophic. Once something about a career, when you have a medical issue, you don't sweat that shit. When you just keep having jobs, when a medical issue arises, you got to have problems. Because now you got to pay that. Now you got to pay that. Like I say, when I went to the doctor last time, and the lady told me she had to pay $300. Man, if I had to pay $300 to go to the doctor, guess what? I would never, ever go. When I had, and I still got good insurance, I'd be struggling with that $25 copay sometimes. I'd be like, man, is this shit just going to go away in 2 days? I don't want to give up my 25. If I had to give up 300, man, my heart going to need to stop beating. Trina going to need to be nagging the shit out of me. She going to have to tell my mama and bring her over here to get me to go somewhere. Because I'm be like, $300. $300, to me, that's the same as dead.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's like, and it's one of the reasons that when I talk to the next generation, I tell them, be more concerned about benefits than you are about the paycheck. Benefits will take you a long way if you're gonna get in a career. Doing this sniper stuff and getting these good paying jobs, it sounds good in the moment, and it's really great. It's really great. I'm gonna give you a caveat. It's really great if you marry somebody with a career, you can get on their insurance, but I'm going to stick to what I'm saying because I believe this to be true in 99% of the cases. Having health insurance is probably the most important thing when looking for a job, especially if you got a work ethic, because then you can let that be your career. And think about this, ladies and gentlemen, because everything changing now. But if you come out of high school we're gonna put you at 18. You go to a tech school. I don't want y'all to go to college because that's a whole nother show. But you learn you a trade. Get with the IBEW, become an electrician or HVAC, and get with a company. Ladies and gentlemen, I ain't telling you not to start your own business. If you start your own business, that insurance is gonna eat your ass alive. You're gonna have to keep working. Get with a company. Get with a company who got benefits. Then get you a side hustle where you can do this. But let the company take care of you so that in 20, 25 years, you can let it go. Because if you start this at 20 and get to be 45, 46, that means you've been working 25, 26 years. And if you got a side hustle, you can make more profit, but you want to keep the benefits from the company. Let them pay into that. What were you going to say, Mo? My bad.
No. It was along the lines of what you're saying, because I want people to, I had to figure this out, man. So what I'm about to tell you, do your own research, but check this out. This is how it works, because DVP is talking about benefits. A lot of people don't even know how the benefits works, but let me tell you how it works. Everybody at the company puts money in a pool, whether you need it or not. It goes into the company pool, okay, for benefits, whether you need it or not. And the people who need it, they get the money out the pool, right? Out the pool of money. The rest, the company, and hold on, I skipped a step. So you put the money in this pool, the company takes that money and invests it. All right. So that money is not, you give them, you know how they take the money out your check on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis.
Right.
They take your money, put it in the pool with everybody else in the company. It's the company benefit, right? Take that money, go invest it. They're making money, right? And then they cover whoever needs benefits, they cover from the pool of money. All right. So the company never really even uses their own money. So definitely get you a good job, or get you a job with good benefits. Don't think about it too hard. Don't worry about if it's taxing the company or whatever, because they're taking your money, they're investing it, they're making money, and they're paying for benefits for the people who need it. Because look, I worked probably 40 years before I needed to even use a benefit. I did the easy stuff, like dental, and that stuff don't cost that much. You could pay for that. I did dental and dental exams and eyeglasses and all that. But then when I really needed work done, that didn't happen until later in life. But the point is, the company, if you're with a good company, the company will pay for it, but you're paying for it anyway. Trust me on that one. You're taking money out of your paycheck to pay for it. They're pooling the money, they're investing it, they're making money, so they don't really feel the hit on that. So don't feel bad for the company. Just that's a benefit for you.
And looking at this, and ladies and gentlemen, again, do what you want to. I'm just giving you some advice from an old man that as again, I'm gonna stick to what my dad told me. Do what you have to so that you can do what you want to. I think those are some of the wisest words I ever got in my life. Do what you have to so that you can do what you want to. Because too many times we keep wanting to get to doing what we want to first. See, I think everybody on here is in a serious relationship. For us to get to that point where we could feel comfortable in being in a serious relationship, then we have to get to a certain point mentally, and if we're honest, even financially, so we felt secure with ourselves before we could actually engage in it. Because most of us, we lost out on good women because we weren't there. We felt like we felt like a burden. Because what you don't see is a lot of our group, my generation. You don't see a lot of us complaining about what the woman should do and all this other stuff. This came from the other generation. And I ain't knocking what you do. Like I say, if you 50-50 and you find your woman 50-50, it's all to the grave. But most of my generation was never taught that. We were never taught, whether you call it sexist or whether you call it being a grown man, we were never taught to split with a woman. We were never taught that. I ain't knocking you if you are. I'm just saying it comes with a different set of expectations when you try to move outside your lane. This is why money does matter. It does. Oh, women, all these women gold diggers. If she a gold digger, why you with her? I'm just thinking, make that make sense to me. I'm sure that at this stage, let's just say we were single, If Mo ran into a woman, if DVP ran into a woman that we thought wasn't shit, why are we still entertaining her? See, that ain't on her. If we already know who she is and we're still entertaining her, then that's on us. We can't keep. What the I say? You can't blame a snake for being a snake. So if we did a better job of vetting, and his little inside scoop, you can't vet when you're at the bottom of the barrel. You can't vet. Let's see. Mark said you can't reach your full potential working for a company. My life got better when I stopped letting my business be my side hustle and made it my life. And like I said, I'm not knocking it. But what has happened, what I see, Mark, is that when people, because and you don't have to reach your full potential. Remember that you got a whole life to lead. But what you can do is let the company set you up for success. You can let the company get you places that you ain't got to pay to get you no more. The company will get you contacts, and then you just branch out, which is why I said you start your side hustle while you're working with them. Let them take care of all the little things. Let them take care of that. When I see when I get these people who come to my house and when I make a repair call, when the guy come in to check my AC and whatever, oh, he always managed to tell me what he do outside of the company. But guess what? Without the company, he would have never met me. He would have never met these other people that he gonna call future clients. See? So right now, he can build them for his gas. Once he starts his own company, he can't build them for gas. See? So these are benefits he can get working for the company that he's working for, because they're gonna put him on a health insurance plan. His cost that he paying to the company ain't nothing like his cost if he had to pay the insurance company directly. And like I said, I got my own business. But when you got your own business, what happens when there is no business? You don't get paid no more. Yeah. You work for a company, you're still on the payroll. You got sick leave. Like I said, and I ain't knocking it. Do what's best for you. But we can't keep telling people this is what they got to do, because everybody's not meant for that. Everybody's not meant to be a leader. Some people are meant to be workers, and that's what they do best. And we have to let them live in their honest assessment of what they do best. And like I say, right, when you run your own company, it's hard. It's hard to plan a vacation. It's hard because you the boss. But when you work for somebody else, them vacation days come built in. Every time I see somebody post about, man, I'm hustling 24/7. See, you should have got your job. Job ain't gonna make you hustle 24/7. But see, you work for yourself, you got to keep finding clients. You got to keep finding this. You got to find people who are gonna pay you. And I'm saying, you got to do what works best for you. But everything comes with pros and cons. But if you're going to complain about the money that you ain't got because of this, you need to reevaluate how it is you're saving money and how you're spending money. Because if you making $1,500 a week, which after taxes, depending on what kind of dependence you got, at best you making $800. Okay, I'm gonna say at best you're making $1,000. So you're making $1,000, and then you look at your bills, and your bills, I'm looking at people talking about they got $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month bills.
Wait, DVP. You got to take that $1,000 and give the government 7 to 10%, 7 to 15%, probably 15%. Middle class is about 15%. So you got to take $1,000, get them 15% first.
Oh no! You got to get them 23%.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm putting in the middle, but okay, yeah, the 23%. You got to get them, like, let's say, just say 20% first. Then you got the rest left over.
And you got children. That's another 20%. This all come out early.
Yeah.
And like I said, you to try to do it without knowing what you're spending, because like I had a couple people and I'm looking at what they're spending, and I'm like, dude, if you're working 7 to 8 hours a week, why do you have cable TV? When do you watch cable TV if you work 80 hours a week? So you're paying, because cable, oh my God, that's a whole nother rip off unto itself.
Well, hold on. Before you go to cable, man, I need to rewind the tape for a minute, because when we was coming up, you had to go to these credit centers, right, to get to get my family went to the credit center to get furniture because we couldn't afford it, right? So you go to the credit center to get this furniture, they give it to you, right? A couch set that's really look nice, and it's all brand new. Not to find out that couch set, if you bought it, was probably be about $300. By the time you finish making the payments, you pay $1,500 because they're gonna make you on payments. There's overtime, there's interest accrued, there's late payments, all that. So it's all rigged, man. That's crazy.
And it's funny you talk about that because when I was doing my thing, I actually went with these guys because it's a rental center down here.
Yeah.
And I had never paid attention to a rental center before because I never understood. But when I went and I'm looking, I'm like, damn, so you renting this piece of shit couch for $62 a week, which ends up being $250 a month. You could have got this same couch from Rooms to Go anywhere else.
Yeah.
For $142 a month.
Yeah.
For fewer months. And this shit was just blown. Y'all really paying this because they done made y'all, they done convinced y'all that it's easier to pay them $30, $40, $50 a week. When if you went on ahead and did the right thing, you'd be paying the big company $50 a month.
Well, you know what? Is that DVP, but it's also they don't follow the standard credit protocol. You know what I mean? So you know how you go into a place and they got to look up your credit, they got to check your background for 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. Make sure you didn't do no time, whatever it is, right? These places, they don't look for that. They're just like you know, as long as you can show us a little fitness that you can pay, you can get this loan, you can get this couch, you can get the couch.
Right, because we don't understand credit ain't that hard. It ain't that hard to get. Even if you got to mess around and pay for your first credit card, which I'm a total advocate against. But if you ever had messed up credit, you had one of the credit cards where you put $200 on there, you got a $180 limit. But it'll improve your credit score. And bam. I see. So Bo been in barber school all his life. He's been self-employed. Like I said, and I ain't knocking it. Looking back, I wish I had a regular job and also did barbering. Being an entrepreneur, especially barber, you're serving to the community. Yes, you make your own hours, but it's a lot of hard work and hustle. And that's all I'm saying. Most people won't admit to that part, but it is. And Bo, because I know you've been sick before. How did you take care of your health benefits, Bo? But why don't you come on the show? What I need to do? Let me find Bo and get Bo.
And then I had a question for Bo too. You know what I mean? Because I had a business, and there was some things that I wanted to ask Bo. So you getting them on the show, DVP?
I'm finna send them an invite.
Okay, yeah, come on the show, Bo. Let's chop this up, man. We got.
Hey, Bo might be doing some shady shit. So I don't never know what my folks be doing. I don't never know.
Put your screen filter on, Bo.
Bo, I just sent you an invite. Come on to the show and talk to us, Bo. Because, like I said, I truly do believe in the entrepreneurial spirit. But I believe you got to set up your own foundation for it first. Like I said, before I got into security, I would say I met most of my clients being a cop. And they kept saying, hey, man, you can do this. Hey, you can do this. So, yeah, I started doing it. But I let being a cop take care of most of my liabilities. And being a cop let me meet people I wouldn't have normally met. I ain't finna knock it. Being a cop let me get lifetime insurance. I ain't finna knock it. Don't get me wrong, I was in the military. That military insurance, I mean, it's better now. But going to the VA ain't nothing like what I got with the sheriff's department. Now I can just, every time I look up now, I see a Kaiser place. I can go to Kaiser and get seen. I ain't got to stay in the waiting room for a day and a half like I used to have to with the VA. I can even do telehealth. I can tell Kaiser something wrong with me right now, and bam, 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 like that. I ain't never finna knock that. But when I see people who don't want to do this, and it's like, oh, I want to have my own. Like Bo said, man, it's hard. I was telling one of my sons, he's like, man, Dad, I want to do this, this, and this. I said, boy, you got 2 kids. I said, have you looked into insurance? Yeah, they helped it now. But what happened when one want to play sports and break their leg?
Yeah.
Hell, break an arm. What happened when you're hustling, hit a slow peak and ain't nothing going on? What happened? And where the money gonna come from? See, and then that's when we tend to want to start doing illegal stuff. We get caught up. Now you got to pay for an attorney. Now all that money you save gone just like that, and you ain't got nothing to fall back on. Nothing.
Yeah, and a big part of that is you need multiple streams of income, and you need to have your money invested. Don't have it in the bank. You're losing money. You put your money in the bank, you're losing money. Let me just tell you, with the fees and everything else, you're losing money. But you know, having your money invested, your money at least will grow some. You know what I mean? You can grow, and sometimes it grows significantly too, as well.
Right.
But yeah, so you need to, you got to save something. You got to, instead of just saving it, putting it on your mattress or putting it in a bank, in a savings account. Savings account's the worst, man. That's the worst. That's the worst thing you can do, folks. It's safe, but they're gonna slowly drain you. It's like a tire with a slow leak in it. Yeah, money just seeping out slowly, for charges and fees and everything else in the background. You probably not looking at it, but that's what happens.
And like I said, it's cool and it's funny because our generation again has that work ethic. Most of these kids now, they just want the money. Man, I don't understand why I can't just do this. You ain't put the time and effort in. You ain't at the top of your game yet. Man, I got this. I see all these kids want to be a musician. All of them want to be actors. All of them want to do this. I can sing. I bet everybody who on the show right now can tell you about a talent show we went to. We know people who can sing their ass off. But guess what? Most of them sound like somebody, which means they ain't gonna be no good. We already had this. You got to bring something different to the table. It's people who got great voices. You could probably walk down the street that you on right now and find 10 great singers. We all went to school with somebody who we thought was a great basketball player. They were for that school. Yeah. It wasn't at the next level. Some was at the next level. They made it to college, but damn, they couldn't make it in the pros. They didn't have what it took, but they were good at where they were, and that's how a lot of us are. And we get caught up in the trap. When I was working at clubs, people would always want to tell me, shoot me their CD, see if I could get it to the DJ, and I'm listening to them like, dude, this is crap. But when they parents listen, they like. And I'm like, I got the same effect. It's just I'm having the seizure listen to this music because you can't let your people listen to it. You got to let people who listen to music on a regular basis listen to it. And the thing is, you scared to tell them that it sucks because they looking at you for you to tell them that their child is the next great thing coming along. It's like, nah, this right here, it's somewhere between garbage and trash.
So look, that's a good segue. Let's talk about qualifications, like people. So in that case, this person thought they were good at something. They didn't even look to get their work qualified. Have some people listen to it. Have somebody say, "Oh yeah, man, you good. Try this, try that." They just take it upon themselves to just go out and do it. Man, that's rampant in our community. A lot of things we don't even get qualified. People singing, how you look, things you're doing. A lot of that stuff. Y'all, listen, it's okay to ask somebody and ask them for honest feedback. It's all right. Your feelings might be hurt, but look, get them hurt now, and then you can improve. Don't mean you got to stop, but get some honest feedback, improve on what you're doing. And then at some point you got to make a decision. You got to say, listen, I'm good enough or I'm not good enough. Everybody has to go through that, and then that's just basic reality. There's some things, I think there's 5% of people in the world that are in the NBA. 5%, I think that's the right number, 5% or 1%, something like that. And just think about people that are better than you, and then think about how good Michael Jordan must be. But it's okay to face reality. Don't just take yourself out, fool yourself out, trick yourself out that you're good at something, you got to ask people really. And then when you hear it several times, then you know you can acknowledge it and keep even improving on that. That's what should be happening.
Both say he drive. What's your question for him, Mo? Do you still remember?
Oh man, Bo. Let's see. I think I wrote it down. Hold on, Bo.
He was the one that's been doing the barbering since '88.
Damn, it'll come up. It'll come
All
up.
Right, so he said he gonna try to get on. Hopefully he gonna be done in a few. But yeah, and like I said, when we start talking about money for the bulk of us ain't something that's gonna come like that. It's something that we got to work toward. So start laying your foundation so you can get to it. Just start laying. Like I say, when I first started working, it never occurred to me that at 44 I could get a check for doing absolutely nothing. But I had put 22 years in with a job. Even though I heard people talking about it, it never occurred to me. And that's why when I just gave an example earlier, if you go to tech school and then you become a union worker, whatever, if you do that at 20, when you work 20 years, even though now you probably got to work 30, but if you work 30 years, that means at 50, you finna start drawing the check for the rest of your life. And and again, I'm glad I grew up when I grew up. See, Mo is probably better prepared now to start a job because he understands more about the stock market. He could probably do a better job of investing in a 401 plan because he pays more attention to the market. Most of us still don't know how they work. So 401s don't work for a lot of us. I had a straight pension. And when they tried to get me to change it, it was never going to happen because I wasn't into the stock market. But like I said, I had a couple of coworkers who were into the stock market. It worked for them because they doing this thing every week. They getting the New York Stock Exchange. They changing their thing every week. And I told people, if y'all switch to that pension plan, y'all better start asking them 2 questions all the time because they ain't the job. The job just wants your money at this point because whatever you make in this 401 is what you retire with. They don't care if you make good or bad decisions. With that pension, I'm gonna get my raises. 401s don't get raises. Whatever the stock market doing, that's how you got to keep getting paid. And like I say, for me, the pension worked better. But a lot of places now don't have a straight pension plan. Everybody wants you to get into some kind of deferred comp or 401 plan. So y'all need to pay attention to the stuff when Mo trying to get y'all to get into the stock market, when he telling y'all about the classes or the groups that he got where you can start learning stuff. Because this is stuff you need. He got me into it, and don't get it twisted. I don't need it, but I want it. So I started investing in the stock. I took some of his tips. I started watching Susie Orm and MSNBC and some of these other channels and paying attention. And contrary to popular belief, one of the first things he told me, investing don't cost a lot of money. But even if it did, think of what you blow. So
right.
Let's just say, he got a group, Robert.
Robert rich. Robert don't need no help. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Robert, you rich anyway.
Robert rich.
But, and Robert, send me an inbox to remind me. I'll make sure I put you in Mo's group. But this is how I start. Like I said,
I'll put the link in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. I got into it. I listened to him a couple things, like I said, and I started watching, as opposed to watching reality shows or watching shit that didn't do me no good. I started watching the financial shows, paying a little attention. I started getting financial newsletters and seeing what worked for me. You know what I'm saying? And because I was scared, I invested. I started off with $20, $50. Something if I lose, I ain't gonna get mad. As I start paying more attention, shit. Okay, I know. Okay, I see this. I can put 1,000 into this. Man, where you get 1,000 from? Well, consider. And just all I'm saying is listen to how y'all live y'all life. Some of y'all going to the club every week. It's $20, $25 to get in. So that's $100 a month. You drinking. That's another $50 a week. That's $200. So right there, you already looking at $300, $400 that you're doing on shit that ain't got no return on investment whatsoever. So that same $300 you just spent last month at the club, if you invest, and I'm gonna help you out a lot. If you invest $200 or $250, then what did you lose? And don't get it twisted now. More time, you can lose money, but you can't make no without trying. Going to the club gonna win you what? Remember what the movie said? You'll lose money chasing pussy, but you don't lose pussy. You don't lose pussy chasing money. Chase the money. Chase the money. Because once you get there and you get to a stage where you can enjoy it, I just booked the vacation. I didn't even look to see what I had in my account because I know what I got. I know how I've been saving. I don't have an expensive lifestyle. So if I decide I want to go somewhere, when we went to Vegas a couple of years ago, we stayed at Bellagio. We went to see those are not cheap shows, but I had been saving up for it. And it wasn't stopping me from nothing else because it ain't what you make, it's what you save. So if you bringing in $1,500, but you putting out $1,650, you constantly losing. But if you bringing in $1,500 and your expenses only $800, $900, here maybe $1,200, I mean you can put $300 to the side. If you put $300 to the side for the year, that's $3,600. That's $3,600 that was otherwise unaccounted for. But you'd rather go out and drink and live your best life because you only live once. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying there are other things that can be done with money if you truly want it. If big I, big L.
DVP, I put the link in the private chat. Just
yeah, I'm copying it now.
Okay, all right. It wouldn't let me post it. I couldn't do it.
So yeah, this is what y'all got to do, and it's okay to ask for help. I promise you, it is.
No. G Boom. No, bro. Is that a brother? I can't see the picture. So listen, G Boom. No, that high interest savings stuff. It's a fallacy, man. It's fake. That's. We'll go off. The show is talking about something different, but just a real tip for you, man. The money that the bank gives you for interest is probably less than the interest, the inflation rate. All right. So when you put money in the bank and you see it grow at 5%, the inflation rate is 5%. So your money didn't even really grow. So no, man, the banks do not. The bank is like a casino. They're not gonna do something to lose money ever. But anyway, any case, brother, DVP just put the link in the chat. Come to my group. Let's talk about it. If you still believe it, we'll talk about it, and I'll get you some information and pointers, and we can go through it, man.
And this see, and this is why it's good to have a different group. Because G Boom, I understand what you're saying. Because, and this is why I'm gonna disagree with you, Mo. It's better than having a regular savings account. A regular savings account is garbage. If you're gonna have a savings account, get you a high yield savings account. But make sure you search them out because they change from year to year. It may be pretty good for 1 year because a regular savings account, I want to say pay 0.75 or something like that. But a high yield savings account, if you get a good one, it's anywhere from 4 to 6.
Yeah. So, but you comparing a high yield savings account to a savings account.
Yeah, but that's what most people know initially. They don't know the stuff.
Oh yeah.
But you gonna get one.
So that's true.
Get the high yield.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
right. Because I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I put my tax money in my high yield savings account because I don't want nothing to happen to it. But it's gonna gain more because at first I was just putting in a savings account and I could pay it. I can get way more out of it from the high yield. So that's what I get what he's saying. It ain't gonna make you rich, but you're gonna get way more because initially we were told to put in a savings account for overdraft. And I'm gonna tell you that's the biggest scam going. If you can't afford it, don't get it. I will honestly tell you this: any overdraft account you got, pay more attention to your money. You should not be spending money like that. If you can't afford it, that's a sign. Don't get it, but put it somewhere else. But yeah, because every time you use this, is the crazy thing about, and we're gonna switch to something else. But this is the crazy thing about overdraft. You're being charged to use your money to cover your own money. That's a hustle. So I got $1,000 here. I buy something that costs $1,012. They take $12 out of my savings account, my savings account that I got a whole nother $1,000 in because I want to make sure I got money, and then they charge me $35 for it. Hold on, because I could have got on my phone and moved the $12 over him for free, but because I let you do it, I got to charge $35.
Or go take it out the bank, you know, and then go pay for it.
Right, but that's why I said I don't even link those accounts together where you get overdraft. Like I said, just don't do it. Just don't do it. If you that tight with money, pay attention to what you're doing before you go. Then when you go shopping, you need to already know how much you can spend. Or better yet, if you that limited, when you go shopping, sit your ass down. Go to the grocery store, buy you some bread and some lunch meat, and start making sandwiches. The link is I just put the link in there. Mark,
yeah, I see it at 3:58. He put it in at 3:58 his time. It's up there.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It let me see it, but it won't let me see the name of the group.
Let me see if it works. I'm gonna try to paste and go to it, see if it works. Yeah, it works.
Okay. But anyway, the name of it is
Black Money and Finance.
Black Money and Finance. But yeah, these are things that we got to start learning about to help us out. Anyway, hey G-Boom, where you watching from? But this is how we start getting better. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you ain't got to jump out there with $1,000. Do something that's comfortable. Start out with $25. See, and I tell you, I ain't pushing you to nothing, but and I'm scared of this, but how most banks got this keep the change thing, I do keep the change now with Bitcoin because I'm scared of Bitcoin, but I don't mind risking a little change here and there. But most of the finance people I talk to, they don't really care for it because it ain't bagged by nothing.
Yeah,
but even with some of the other stocks I was doing from Cash App, I own stock in Exxon. I did that through Cash App. Just doing a little at a time. You know, do a little, get comfortable, because then you're gonna want to start reading stuff. Because now you want to go see what's going on. You see what's going on. Right. You know, and it's just a process. You can't act like you know everything. You can't take Mo word for everything. You can't take BVP word for everything. Because guess what? Just like some of the other people, we missed too. A lot of them billionaires have lost money. They can lose more money than we can. And all their money didn't come from one super big investment. It came with a lot of different stuff. But this, again, is what sometimes we got to understand group economics. If we were smart, and I want us to get there, again, this is where we could learn to buy stock in mass. If we put our heads and our finances together, we just got to understand that the proceeds won't be divided equally. They'll be divided equitably. The more you put in, the more you get out. Everybody can get the same thing. We got to stop getting into that mentality that we all get the same thing. If we got to put in $5,000 to get this stock, and I put in $3,000, well, that's 60%. Guess what? That means I'm gonna get 60% of the return first. You can't say, well, why he got that much and I only got this? Well, you only put $200 in. Our return shouldn't be the same, and that's why we got to stop being jealous of things that have nothing to do with nothing. But
on that note, DVP, I got a program, man. That's called, I don't know if I ever told you about this. It's a program called the Family Program, and the idea is that you invest as a family. All right, so you have, if your family is cohesive enough, it wouldn't work for my family. But it wouldn't work for my family. But if your family's cohesive enough, you invest as a family. You operate just like a company, and everybody put in, like, I'm gonna make it up, like $50. From the older mature people down to the young, young kids. Everybody put in like $50, $25, whatever it is. And y'all invest that money like a corporation, and y'all all make decisions on, okay, this, because some of the young people are going to know some of the up and coming things in the world that are going to be big. Oh yeah, I know about this. This is a new toy or this or that, And then some of the ladies in the group going to know about the lady stuff. Oh yeah, this is a new fashion is coming out. So the men are going to know about some other things. Yeah, this is a new it's just a new engineering tool or whatever it is, So everybody got information. You use it, you invest as a group, And the idea is that you invest in different things. You don't just invest in one company. See, that's the key. You gotta invest in multiple different companies that do different things. And so the average of the gain is what you're looking for. It don't matter if you lose on one company, because you gotta make money. You make money on a different company. So it all works out. But anyway, it's the family program, and I think we got to start doing this more. So DVP was talking about group dynamics, and even if it's not a family, what I mean, if it's just like 10 people that got together, I can help structure it so that y'all can function as a group and invest your money. Everybody's scared to invest, right? But y'all got $25, right? If you got 10 people with $25, that's $250 up, let's say a month. You do that. Easy money, right? $25, and then you stand to make a good return on that money. So that's just one of the things that, yeah, diversification. That's it, Iron. Yeah, that I was trying to just be parochial here, because everybody hadn't taken my course yet. But yeah, it's if you diversify is much better. But anyway.
That's all your employer doing with your money. They don't invest it all into one something. They invest in a lot of different things. But like I said, that's something that we got to start doing better, because what is in your wallet? What's in your wallet it determines a lot of things that you get to do or don't do. And I don't know nobody who wants to be poor, but we keep doing things with a poor mindset. Right. We scared to invest money, but we don't mind blowing money at the club. Right. Good.
Right. That don't make sense, man. It's mind-boggling.
Ain't nothing wrong with having fun, but you know what's better than having fun? Having money and having fun. See, money lead to fun. Fun don't always lead to money. And this is where we gotta, keep saying, "Oh man, money and everything." Yeah, whatever.
When you get
take your girl out with nothing in your pockets and see how much money means.
Yeah, or get sick and see if you got to pay for a medical bill. See if it's not everything. Oh yeah, no, it's
run out of gas and see what money's worth.
Facts, lights off, whatever it is,
Like I say, it ain't how much you make; it's how much you save, and that's why we got to start being a little bit more resourceful. We got to stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. I knew these two brothers. One brother worked he had like 7 different jobs, making plenty of money. Other brother worked for this brother. Every time the brother with all the jobs and stuff got a car, the other brother felt he had to get a car that was more expensive.
Wow.
The brother who doing all the work got 3 cars. The brother who worked for this brother got 6. I said, why you got 6 cars? You know what he said? In case 5 of them break down.
Oh, you told me that. Yeah. In case 5. Jesus Christ, man, you can't call a cab? What's up, man? Jesus.
So why not get 12 in case 11 break down? I mean, if that's your dumbass mentality, and he's like, why you always getting them old cars? 1, because I can fix them. 2, because I can pay for them. I don't want to know. So I got 3 cars. My 3 cars. You paying more on one note than I'm paying for these 3 cars. My insurance for these cars ain't as much as your note is, plus your insurance. And it's like, so I'm saving money now. I don't want to work for my car. I want my car to work for me. Remember the Jeep I told y'all I got last year? Yeah. Guess what? It's paid off.
Yeah, facts.
It's paid off. I just got the title in the mail because that was my reward for doing such a great job. So I said, I got the 4-year car note.
Yeah.
Just in case something happened. Because I ain't gonna tell y'all to sit there and pay the highest thing possible. You want to pay the lowest thing possible and then overpay that. So yeah, I got the 4-year note. And I just kept paying. Bam. Dude, like, man, you paid it up. Mm-hmm. Because as long as I can make a balloon payment without any penalty, I don't do no loans without that. Right. Instead, we have to stop living rich and dying broke. And every time I see and it pains me to see people do GoFundMe's. It pains me. And I used to feel fake remorse about not giving them money, but I don't. Because again, I looked at what they did. Insurance. Pay attention. It's whole life in term. And I'm gonna get somebody to talk to y'all about it. But you gotta get insurance. You gotta get life insurance. You gotta stop expecting people to pay for it. And you know, I know most of I pretty much everybody on here is black. I don't know G Boom. Funerals are great, but I want all y'all to think about this in real world terms. For every funeral that you've been to, or every somebody that you know who died that you loved or was close to you, how many times you go to the grave site to visit them? If it ain't a handful of times yet, then think about why are we paying so much for a casket and a burial, which will run you anywhere from $8,000 to $20,000. When a cremation, you can get a cremation for $2,000. And just hear me out on this. If you truly love this person or whatever, you can get a cremation and get you one of them little necklaces where you can put the ashes in and you can keep that with you. Because I hear what people say about the whole thing. And like I said, I ain't trying to change nobody's mind. I'm just telling you, look at finances. I don't know too many people that go to grave sites on a regular basis. But you paying big money for that grave site. It's almost like their wedding. And you know, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go because I don't want y'all to get mad. Some of y'all having big ass weddings and y'all inviting all these people. And a man put it to me simple. A rich guy put it to me. He said, "I'm gonna tell you what the biggest scam is about weddings." I said, "What's that?" He said, "When people have a big wedding, do you realize that they're paying people to come celebrate with them?" I was like, "What you mean?" He said, "You're gonna get a caterer. They're gonna tell you how much it is per plate. So you're paying for these people to eat. They're supposed to be coming to celebrate you, but you are actually being pimped by them. Everybody who's doing something." Well, damn. And he said, if you look at it, old people are the only ones that give gifts. New people, this young generation don't give gifts. They want to bless you with their presence. He said, I went to one of my friends' wedding. They had a wishing well. The wishing well is where you have things you put money. He said, now I know they spent 30 grand on the wedding. In the wishing well, they got $600. He said, and I put 5 in there. So on their 30 grand investment, they lost $29,000. So you start off a marriage, $29,000 in the hole. Just let that sit with you. Right, G-Bone, you cremate your wife and have a necklace. And I mean, if you truly love this person, like I say, and we all do, we do. I know some religions tell you this, but from a financial aspect, think about how great most of our life would have been if our parents, whoever left us, with a $20,000, $30,000 head start.
Yeah, you know, just on a personal note, I ain't speaking for nobody. I'm speaking for me. But on a personal note, when it's my time, I feel responsible to make sure I have funds aside so that when it's my time and I pass, that it's not a burden on anyone who's still here. I feel responsible to do that. And I'm not sure if people are thinking about that or not, but I had 2 parents. Both of my parents, they died with debt, both of them. So, I mean, you know, that's not something I want to do. I want to make sure I got at least, you know, because you think about it, when you leave, you're already burdening them enough because you're no longer here for them to enjoy you in their life. And then on top of that, now they got to come out their pocket, and you don't know. Everybody don't have, you know, and funerals are expensive. Y'all know what they cost. I think a cheap one is like $5,000. I think that's a cheap one. And so when they got to come out the pocket, first they already lose you. Now they got to come up with $5,000. Man, that's just horrible. What'd you say? What'd you say? 8,000?
Cheap funeral is 8,000 now.
A cheap funeral is 8,000. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now that's I mean, that's something that we really got to look. We got to examine that as a you know, as a group, as people, and you know, as a community, and make some changes. Because yeah, what DVP is saying is facts, man. You know, all this money for at the wrong time in the wrong places. You know, it's ridiculous.
So you know, like I say, that's one of those things where we can make better decisions, but the only way we can make better decisions is to be informed. Because we still scared of things that we shouldn't. We still ignorant about things that we shouldn't be ignorant about no more. And we can't keep letting us hold us back. Because that's what we're doing. We're letting it hold us back. and we don't have a good reason for why we're doing it. So, what up, BT? And like I said, I don't, man.
Yeah, no, it's a fact right there. That's a fact. Yeah, man. Listen, death. Listen, one thing y'all all know. I know y'all. I ain't preaching to y'all, but I know y'all all know. Everything in this world is marketed, even death. Everything is marketed. All right, in this world, even death. And death is expensive. I'm telling y'all, it's expensive. Because you tugging on people's heartstrings, right? And he's saying, look, because I remember us getting into an argument, with this a family of poor folks. We get into an argument because our grandfather died, and we need to buy him a suit. And then some people are like, why are you buying him a suit? It costs like $300, $400, $500 or something like that. We ain't got no money already. Trying to buy him a suit for what? And then some people's feelings was in it. They said, we need to send him off good. We got to send him off so that, and I'm like, look, I'm thinking, I kept my mouth shut. I'm a young kid at this time. But my opinion was just, think about the celebration more, or not celebration, the fact that his life, celebrate his life more. He don't really care about what he's wearing right now. Enjoy the fact that you had this man in your life. And all those things. Remember all those things. But this money burden is ridiculous, especially at the time of death when somebody gets sick. We got to get out of that. That's why all of us walking around here stressed out. That's the worst thing. Lights off, and people dying. Now you got to come up with money. Lights off, you got to come up with money. Credit people come in. Man, we got to figure a way out of that, man. That's I got my. Everybody got their own way of doing that. I chose to, like I said, I chose to invest my money and try and also work. You know what I mean? But you want to avoid that stress, you got to be smart. You got to be smart about
it. And again, we can't be afraid to have uncomfortable conversations. I was looking at a thing today, and one of the first things said, when you get your life insurance, make sure it'll cover all your debt, especially if you got a house, it'll cover everything. And I was looking at another one that said, the guy was like, I don't understand why couples don't take out insurance on each other. Because even though I got my own, my wife should still have one for me too, just in case I didn't get enough. But again, that's one of them things that we don't prepare for. And you don't have to get the most expensive one. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get $1 million. Well, $1 million life insurance ain't cheap. 10 and 20,000, they're pretty cheap. You can get I think we did insurance. So most of us can get a life insurance. We can get a $20,000 life insurance policy for less than it costs to Netflix and chill. Most of us can afford that easily. And if we're being honest, if you don't have a bunch of assets, you don't need a big one. As Mo was saying, you need to make sure that when you go, you don't leave your family with debt. Because contrary to popular belief, that don't just go nowhere because they die. Especially if they leave something. If they leave money, that money go to the debtors first. They're going to get there. That's why, the will can say whatever it want to say. I got $1 million, I leave my $1 million to Mo. But these people going to put a lien on that house, and they're going to hold more money up.
Man, I want my money, too. Do something different.
He don't even want the house. Oh, shit. He don't even want the house. My bad, Robert. I sent you the wrong thing. Let me send you the right link.
Yes, that's one of the things. I mean, it's one of the things that falls by the wayside because there's so many stressors on Black people in America. You got to think about so many things, but I think it comes down to being okay leveraging other people and getting information from other people. That was something I had to struggle with, man. DVP could have been right there with 12 hamburgers and I'm starving and I'm not asking DVP for a hamburger. It's just not happening. You know what I mean? But I grew out of that. I understood, look, you got to be, sometimes you got to have humility, and it's okay to get in that space, ask somebody for help. It's okay. Because guess what? When you get your chance, when you get put on and you get your chance, you can help somebody else. And you know, that's one of the things I do. I had a few people that helped me when I was coming up, and so one of the things I do, and I think DVP does this too. I ain't gonna speak for him, but you know, one of the things I implement just as part of my life is to give back. You know, and that means that could be in any space. That could help people with information. That could be teach people something. That could be, you know, just show somebody the way. Yeah, go this way or do this. You know what I mean? Because those little things like that, it was a thing like that that made the whole difference in my whole world, my whole life. Just little people, just, you know, giving me little clues and little hints. You know, granted, it would have been easier if I had, like, you know, my parents were in my life and they kind of gave me that structure. But, you know, my life is my life. I got it that way. And I'm saying I know there's people in this world that don't always have somebody. So, you know, if you got information, you know, just you know, give it away. Don't charge people. You know, you got people out here charging a lot of money to do stuff. Just, you know, give somebody some information.
And I'm gonna say this: even if you too prideful to ask, have a frosted mug or shut the fuck up and listen.
Facts.
Listen, like I say, Mo gave me some stuff. Then I start watching shows on MSNBC because all I'm doing is listening. We sometimes, what's up, Rob? Sometimes
what's going on, DVP? What's up, Mo?
Hey, what's up, Rob?
Man, he got pigs and shit in the background. I got to put him off the show.
We're
not finna do that. But
no, I'm just chilling in the garage, man. That's all.
Man, but I see you got stinking pigs and you got a stinking pigeon thing behind you. See, hey, that's how you know when a brother is suffering in silence. When you see that behind them, that's how you know they suffering in silence. Man, see, hey, that's when you know his girl don't love him because she wouldn't let him do that. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't let him do that. She don't. Bro, my bad. You know what? We're gonna do an intervention. Hey, man, we're gonna meet at Rob house, right? Like at 9:30. Because see, he needs some friends. Y'all can see that with his background. He needs some friends.
That's Black America's team, man.
No, sir. Hell to the nizal. Hell to the now.
Oh man.
They like us, they struggle like us, man. You know what I'm saying?
No. That's an abusive relationship.
Hey, Mo, and constantly on the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
them birds, and people, you know.
So I done them Black America's team.
They keep switching sides because they want to be with whoever winning. The birds ain't never winning. They always getting beat. And I like the resilience of these people, but it just tell me they into abusive relationships. Cause
But you know what? I know we ain't talking about sport, but you know what? I like that year to year. I like that hope that we still have every year. I like that hope, man. You know what I'm saying? I can easily go join the team like everybody else and say I'm a winner, but it's that wait. It's when it finally happened, it's gonna be, oh man, it's gonna be so good, and all people like y'all gonna be trying to come back. See,
bruh, this ain't a sports show, but as we
I like the struggle, man.
We trying to move up in life and get ahead. You know, listen.
Hey, that's why I call them Black America's team, because I like the struggle, man. It's the struggle.
You that brother on the Titanic thinking, you know, the water ain't gonna get that high. Ain't nobody left but you. The piano go on air, and you still hold on to that thing singing that song. No, sir. But you know what? Like I said, BT. Stanford, we're gonna meet at Raw House. We're gonna do an intervention. I'm gonna call the people from whatever that channel is, Nickelodeon, whatever.
You come down in the basement, man. You're gonna be talking more trash than that.
I'm not coming to the basement. I'm gonna show everybody where to go. I'm gonna let BC and Stanford go to the basement. You know what I'm saying? I'm not into that. I'm already in therapy. I can't subject myself to that kind of abuse. That's self-mutilation. But anyway,
yeah, but I think but let's get to Mo, man. I think I follow you already, Mo. I'm gonna try to get with some of that, man. You know, because I blow so much money, man, like ridiculous.
Sometimes we don't even know it. That's why I tell people at some point, you know, like when a couple people ask me, I say put it on paper because we don't know what we blowing. Because a lot of people who swear they ain't got no money, they actually got plenty of money. They just don't keep up with it. That's why I say I hate overdraft. Overdraft make you not keep up with your money. And one of the first things I learned when I started balancing my checkbook, man told me, he said, don't never balance it to the penny. If you spend $1.40, put $2 in there so that you always make sure you building in a cushion. Because if you keep trying to manage it to the penny, that means you ain't living right. So build yourself a little something, and then once you get in that habit, you don't worry about what you're spending because you know that you've done right. And we don't want to keep up with it because we don't want to know. We don't write a list down because we don't want to see what we spending money. Like I said, the guy working 80 hours a week. Why you got cable, plug? You paying $200 for cable. First, you need to get you a Fire Stick. If you're gonna watch TV, get you a Fire Stick and just get the internet because that's way cheaper. But he's so used to having cable, he ain't never thought about just getting a Fire Stick. Because again, it's that rental center mentality. You got to pay for the Fire Stick and stuff up front. Well, it's rental center.
I was like that too, man.
$200 over 6 months and get $600 out of you. And that's the mentality that a lot of us have grown up with. And people, like I said, one of my kids was paying minimum balance on the credit card. And I was like, if you owe them $50, they will let you pay them a whole year that $50 because they're gonna keep telling you only got to pay $12. I said, $12 a month times 12 is $144. So for that $50 you pay them $144. Because we don't understand what 25% or 18% compounded daily mean.
Yeah.
But these are the conversations that we got to start having because I think, and I like what you're doing, Mo, but I think sometimes we got to tell them how much they're losing and by not paying attention. You're losing money by paying the minimum. You're losing money. You're losing money.
I've been hooking up a lot of Fire Stick with people, man. I charge people $50 to hook up a Fire Stick, man. I get them all the free movies you want, man. TV service $15 a month, man, for anything that include, man. I'm talking about sports, pay-per-view, $15 a month, and people telling me I'm paying $200 a month for cable. I'm saying you're a fool.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you get for that one cable bill, you can get cable for a whole year for about $120 something.
Especially if it, see, I still got my cable, but every time something come up, I think about getting rid of it. And the only reason I stick with cable, because I now only got basic stuff, is because sometimes I don't want to deal with the buffering. But it's something that I can afford. When it was a struggle, man, I got rid of all the cable because I got one of these. I can look at everything on here if I want to, but people don't prioritize what it is they got and what they need to do.
You got to tell them to give you the highest, the best internet service available. You know what I'm saying? You got to get more bandwidth. You know what I'm saying? And it's still gonna be cheaper than cable.
Oh, no doubt. But like I said, it was because of what I was doing. I still wanted to be able to do it because I actually need to record some stuff. But like I said, I got to a point where I could afford it. I wasn't working 80 hours a week. Let's say you work 8 hours a week. Why do you have cable? You don't have time to watch TV play. When you go home, you're going to sleep. All you really need, you really should stay to the boarding house and just get you a room and a bed because that's all you need. But you want all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I would tell
you ain't gonna watch, but it ain't before station. It ain't before channels. You gonna watch anyway. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But they package it. They package that one thing you want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They group it. They group it so that you gotta get all the packages, right?
Yeah. But we think we gotta have it. We and it's like why? Like I said, to me, they don't do going to the club. Me and Rob and BT and Stanford can hang out. We can go to the liquor store. Everybody get their bottle of liquor, and we won't spend $100. But if we go to the club, the first round is $100. But we don't understand that concept sometimes. And that's why I say once you make people put it on paper and make them see what they're doing, that's sometimes the first light that hit them because they don't want to write it down. Because writing it down make it real. It's kind of like you ever thought something crazy and somebody said, "Now just say that out loud," and then when you heard it, you're like, "That's stupid. I can't believe I said some stupid shit like that." But if you don't hear it, you don't really know. And that's why, because we do want something in our wallet. I don't know nobody who don't want to get to the better life sometimes. And ain't nothing like going out somewhere and breaking out your debit card, your cash out card, whatever it is, knowing that it's going to go through. Because you ain't sitting there thinking, man, how much did I get in gas? Because I hate them brothers who $5 gas you to death. Bro, why don't you just fill up the tank? Man, I'm still waiting on my friend Cash App to hit. Dude, you for real? You know your car.
So let me add Mo something. So add Mo something real quick. Mo, so you have a beginner's class for like the stock market?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got like a bunch of programs, but yeah, when you come to the page, you'll see You'll be communicating with me and you'll see all the programs. But it's primarily beginners because if you know how to do it already, you just need tips and tricks. You can come to my page too, and I can help you out. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just get everybody. There's a let's see. The study I'm about to tell you was from about 4 years ago, and Black people were last in investing. That should be a damn clue, man. White people first, Hispanics second, Black people last. All right. So, but that should be a clue because financially, why are Black people last in investing, and also are the poorest people in the country, relatively speaking. Each of us individually are not poor, but relatively speaking, right? So I'm like, once I saw that, I'm like, well, I know how to invest. Let me start sharing some of this knowledge and this information. And so that's why I created the group, to just start helping our brothers and sisters out. I want to show them the basics of finance and how to invest. And so it's called Black Money and Finance is the name of the page. I think I gave you the link. So just come on over, and I got some classes, I got some courses, everything free. I don't charge for nothing because this is just the way I give back to the community.
So I think with us is trust with us, man. I think for at least that's with me. It was like, can I trust this? You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Yeah, no, you hit it right on the head, because I got a brother, and he's 6 years older than me, but he come from that school where he got to really trust it before he do anything. He won't let me teach him how to do the stock market, man. So it's it takes certain people. You just got to be ready. Once you're ready, and that trust factor, you got to be beyond that trust factor, and you got to get with somebody who kind of you trust. Because if you don't trust the person showing you, it's definitely not gonna work.
And Rob, this is what you got to do. Do like I did. Like I said, I was listening to what he said, and he put up some stocks. I said, I'm gonna invest in one of his and just see what's going on and see how I like it. But I started with $25 because $25 wasn't gonna hurt nothing. But like I said, after that, I started watching different shows. I started reading. I started subscribing to different little articles and reading them. The best stocks for this, the best stocks for this. I'm looking at everything that don't require arm and leg, because I'm like you. We probably grew up thinking that investing stocks you need $10,000, $15,000, $20,000.
I did.
Don't.
I thought that.
I started with $25, and I watched my $25 growing to $75. And I'm like, oh shit! Now I'm feeling rich. Now I got $75. I'm rich. I'm rich.
Put out his clothes and went out there.
Because and I told people about all these little savings accounts, how you can save up money. And I put the thing up how you can save up money for Christmas. I mean, I don't do Christmas, but if you put $1 in for whatever week it is, every week, at the end of the year, you're gonna have like, I think $25,000, $3,000, something like that. Use that to go Christmas shopping. So don't try to save all up at once. But because I had these accounts that was made just for that, I started using them for my investment accounts. And whatever I made, when I started doing the high yield savings, what I would make off of that, I just rolled them over into investments. And that's all. I just kept doing. It's like, okay, because now this play money, because this ain't money that account for my regular stuff. This is money that I don't even touch no more, because because we always a little distrustful with our money. But like I said, if you start with a little bit, I said I started investing on Cash App. They sent me a little ad one day. You can invest with whatever it's called, but I spent $1.40. They invest 80 cents in Exxon for me. I like, see, I can do 80 cents. I can do that. It don't even sound like much, but every time I'm using Cash App for something, spare change, whatever the change is that'll round up to the next dollar, they investing. All of a sudden, I'm looking at my Exxon. I'm like, oh snap! Now, shit, I want everybody to go to the Exxon gas station. I need this cheddar company.
And I see that. I be seeing that on Cash App, but I don't pay it no mind. You know what I'm saying?
And like I said, because it was cheap, I said, let me try this, because Mo had talked about penny stocks, and I didn't really understand it. But in my mind, when I saw I can invest with Cash App, I still know what penny stock mean, but to me, it was penny stocks. So I'm gonna invest a little bit with this because it ain't gonna hurt me. Because I already told you the way I did my balancing. If I spend $1.80, I'm putting down $2. So it's still gone. It's still gone. Now it's just going to a good source. So it's like, I mean, like right now, if Exxon was to go bankrupt and I lose all my money, In reality, I ain't even invested $100 in Exxon, but the stock value, I want to say it was at 160, 170 for what I done put in. I'm like, how am I losing? What am I losing? Because it's been 20, 30, 40% of the time. Steph, what you want to link to? The link to the group is already up here, but I'll put it back again. But it's called Black Money and Finance.
So Mo, let me ask you something, Mo. So I'm hearing a lot of people saying what Trump is doing is actually is the best time for people to start investing. You know.
Yeah, it's fact. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, that what I'm sure. So he's actually he's tearing it down to build it up, I guess, you know.
Yeah, you hit it right in the head. So this is what he's doing. What he's doing, you know, these people who are experienced investors, they know what's going on. You know, he's dropping the level of all the companies, right? So the prices of all the companies, you see them, right? They're all going down. Now you invest now, and then when they return to normal levels, you already made your money. You made money already. So, and that's one of the principles of investing. You know, you invest low and you sell when it's high. It's simple as that. And he's doing that with the whole country. You know what I mean? The whole United States of America. It's crazy, man. I ain't never seen nobody do nothing like this. But you know, they all not all the stocks will be impacted, but a lot of them. You know, a lot of the big ones, because you know it's at a national level. You know, but they still got stocks like, let me give you an example. For example, like I don't know if y'all got them self-driving cars where you live, but we got them here. I'm in Arizona. We got the self-driving cars down here. That's a new market. You know, invest in those. I got stock in those because it's the next generation. It's the next thing coming up. You know, there's robotics, new robotics coming out all the time. You know, when we have, if there's a situation where you think war is imminent, you invest in gas and military. You know what I mean? It's a process where, you know, our people just haven't done it, and there's signals and signs on what to do and when to do
it. And you know what's crazy? And I hated this. And when COVID hit, and I got two people to tell me, and I kept being slow. They told me to invest in refrigeration units. People who invest in refrigeration units when COVID hit made a killing.
Oh my God.
You know, damn, something so simple. Jesus. You know, like I say, when he was talking about it, I invested in some AI and some drone technology, because I remember when everybody started getting drone. So I invested in drone technology. And that's the thing is, see, we hear big companies all the time. See, like if you want to invest in Disney costs a little bit of money. But what you do is you invest not necessarily in the company, but you invest in the company that make the stuff that the other companies are using. And that's the hustle. That's where you can get in. That's where you can get in for the low. Go ahead.
Or invest in stuff that you use.
Yeah.
I mean, you buying it, right? If it's a good product and you buying it and you know you use it, why you don't got stock from that company?
Right.
You know everybody go to McDonald's. Why don't got McDonald's stock? McDonald's ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? Or, you know, why wouldn't got Nike stock? It's expensive. That's probably why. But you know what I mean? But why we don't got Nike stock? Invest in the stuff you use. I mean, it's a simple principle. You know,
or at least stuff you see everybody else using. See, instead of being like them,
exactly.
Let them fund your future.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, I don't know what this is, but everybody like this, so let me invest in that.
I look at it like, I call it cash back. It's a cash back principle, right? If you invest in stuff that you already use and the stock goes up, it's cash back. You know what I'm saying? Because you paying into that. You paying money. You know, you buying that product anyway. You know, so that's the simple principle.
Yeah, and like I say, it's just we gotta get comfortable with it. We gotta, and it's crazy, and I don't want to sound racist, but remember how we always felt about Jews, but everybody said the same thing. Jews gonna steal your money, but they're gonna make you money. We gotta stop being scared of people making money off us. Let's make money off of them too. And if you find somebody who is making money, listen to them. I say, you ain't got, because most of the time they telling you this stuff. They telling you what they doing. They telling you. But we're so arrogant and ignorant that, oh, I don't need all that. What's up, Peggy Streeter? I don't need all that. I don't need all that. I don't know nobody who couldn't use an extra $200-$300 every week or every month or sometimes every day. But we got to stop doing it. Like I said, man, sometimes I just sit down. I'm watching MSNBC and I'm just taking notes. I'm listening for the stock. Like I said, I got a newsletter coming. The top 10 stocks for the quarter, the top 10 this, the top 10 that. And like I said, even as I was telling before, I do invest in I do put my money in some high yield savings accounts because I need some steady money. But I don't put as much into that anymore. But I let it do what it's supposed to do because I started using it for my taxes. And I was like, you know what? This a nice little nest egg. Because I was like everybody else. We open a checking account, we open a savings account for overdraft. I just started closing all my savings accounts and turning them to high yield savings account. Yeah. And then when Mo taught me about stocks, I started closing some of my high yield savings account and turned some of them to investment accounts. But this was money I was always putting aside, you know. And Robert, you should understand. But you know how we always say if you go to church, get 10% to God. Well, put 10% aside for yourself and invest in something. Invest in something. You know, you ain't got to keep buying liquor or whatever. Invest that 10% in something. Invest that 10% in 3-4 something. But, you know, I tell everybody, man, it really, unless you're super struggling, you should be able to do $50 a month somewhere. Somehow. You can start small, then start watching it. Start looking at your thing. You know, I'm with, I forgot who I'm with now. But I'm one of the banks I use, they let you invest for free. So I started investing. I started paying attention. I'm looking at my little net gain. Even when the stock market first failed, I had 2 that failed, but my one that was into drone technology, it made up for the 2 that I was losing on. So I'm like, shit, you know, Mo got me doing this thing. I'm feeling all bougie. You know, sometimes I drink. I even drink my little Arizona with my pinky up now. Because, you know, I'm like, I'm getting this. I ain't there yet where I can tell everybody what to do, but I can tell them, as he say, invest in some stuff you like. Invest in stuff you see other people using all the time. And just start small till you feel comfortable. But as you start putting money to the side, what they tell us, we got money in mattresses, we got money hidden in shoes. Man, put that money into something. That money in your shoe ain't gonna make you no money. That money under your mattress ain't gonna make you no money.
In fact, it's losing value. If you put it somewhere else, your mattress losing value because inflation is losing value.
And you know, and that's what we got to pay attention to because that's what we can start getting ahead, and then we can start teaching other people. See, Robert, now you got a testimony to give about this, how you started off. I was skeptical, so yeah, I put a little something in it. The same something I would have threw away at the club. So if I go to the club and throw away $100, why can't I throw $100 away in stock? The return is much greater with stock than it is in the club. At the club, the best I'm gonna get is a girl,
and it's not.
I can get money and a girl,
and it's not. So and you got a good point there, DVP, but it's not like throwing the money away because here's the thing. I know all of us been to a casino. You know how much you lost at the casino, right? And the odds of winning at the casino are much worse than you making money in stocks. So if you've been to a casino, you ain't got to worry about the risk. You know what I mean? There's practically no risk relative to the casino.
Okay.
Always gonna lose money.
And Rob, like I say, once you go a couple of years, hey man, have them on the people show, let them tell them, because that's why I got them on here. Because I'm always shoot something about stocks. Stocks and insurance are the things we should know more about and we should be investing heavily in. It makes no sense for us not to. It makes no sense for us not to leave something for somebody else. Like I said, we would have all been. What was it? Master P started his empire off of insurance money. That's what the white people do. Most of them got there off of the insurance money because they had a head start. They didn't start off being poor. They started off with $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000. And damn, they didn't have to go through all the other struggles of it. Now they can make better choices. Now they ain't got to take the worst job or the first job that come to them. They got a little something they can offset and do something else. I mean, see, $100,000 to start with, you ain't got to rush and make decisions. But we just got to be smart and not go out and buy a Lamborghini with that $100,000 and then be stuck like Chuck because we too busy trying to be like the Joneses. I say, doing the coroner stuff and even being a cop and looking at how much money we blew in funerals, man, watching the people, listening to people who go broke, funding funerals, to me is insane.
Yeah.
You taking out loans for somebody who's dead. I get the emotional trauma, but we're taking out loans. We're taking out loans because we want Papa, whoever it is, to have a great funeral. So you took out a $20,000 loan That is the craziest shit going.
Wow.
But we keep doing it over and over. I don't know if it's guilt or whatever, but why? You can have them cremated, get their thing, get their ashes for less than, for most time, less than $1,500.
Yeah.
But we won't do it.
And not to mention that Pop, he should have been planning for this. You know what I'm saying? He should have been planning for this, man. I don't want that guilt. When I'm dead, man, I don't want to leave that guilt on nobody. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make sure I got enough money so y'all can bury me, and I'm good. And I don't want to leave the burden on other people. You know, that's ridiculous. Why would you do that? I'm saying you ain't worried about it no more. So that's it.
All right, man. Jen told me she ready to go get something to eat, man. So I appreciate you bringing me on. I'm gonna get with you though, Mo.
Hey, tell Jen I said she don't love you because you got that dirty bird thing in the background.
Oh, she loved the dirty bird, boy.
Oh, so she traumatized too.
Women like men who fight for stuff. They don't like men who like to join stuff that's already built. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
They ain't fighting. They don't already gave up. They don't already gave up their dirty bird.
I can say I'm a Steelers fan tomorrow. But what good? How good are they gonna make me feel though? You know what I'm saying? I like the struggle, man. That's why I say we Black America's team because we struggle every year, man. And eventually we gonna get over. You know what I'm saying?
Go take her to get something before she with a frying pan. Go on and take her. But yeah, like I say, you got the link. Yeah, join the show.
Hey, I have a dream today. One day.
Hey, this is what I'm telling you. This is 2026.
Hey man, good show, man. Good show, man. Know what I'm saying?
I see you. Hey, don't tell that lie about I won't never let you on the show no more. Don't tell that lie.
I figured that's why you did. I figured that's why you did this, just to say that. Hey Mo, he brought me on just to say that right there.
I thought Jenny was gonna come on. Nobody even want to see you. I want to see Jenny.
All right, man. Y'all hold it down, brother.
What? Hey, tell them about the show before you leave.
Oh, Overflow, the Everyday People Show, man. We've been off for the last 3 weeks, man. This was my birthday weekend, so I didn't want to do nothing this week. Then you have Memorial Day and the last 3 weeks. But we'll be back next week, man. Every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, man. You know, the Everyday People Show. It ain't my show, it's y'all's show. And anybody welcome to come on and chop it up with your boy and your girl, man. We have a variety of topics. This week, man, I seen somebody say this. It was Black Health Week, Mental Health Week or something, month.
Actually, it's Black Mental Health Month.
Yeah. So I want to talk about. I probably talk about that on Tuesday. Yeah, get some guys on, man. And a lot of those guys we don't like to open up, man. I've been dealing with mental health, dealing with the loss of my mom. So it been hard, man. So I've been talking to people about it. You know what I'm saying? So it was a new reality for me, but but I've been talking to people, man. I'm in a better place now, with that. So losing the person that your ride or die all your life, man. And it was hard for me, man. I admit it. I didn't know guys who lost their mama were dealing with this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was a new reality, man. But yeah, then we're gonna talk about Tuesday, man, 7 o'clock.
All right.
Mental health. All right, Mo, I'm gonna get with you, man. I'm gonna get some of this money, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm seeing I get you this money, Mo.
One of them people, I would always call him and tell him about this show because I say, hey, man, you're doing a good job. Keep it up. Offer him some, offer him a little critique here. He ain't take it personal. He did something, and that's what we got to keep doing. It's enough of this for everybody. Ain't nothing wrong with supporting your brother.
I had to add Jen to get some eye candy on with me.
Yeah, because looking at you, we just watched with a blank screen. Now Jen there, so I pay a little bit more attention.
All right, bro. All right, man. Y'all hold it down. Peace.
So it's 10 till. We ain't gonna get to the other stuff. But seriously, like I said, we the show is to have fun and it's to entertain at the same time because you learn more when you're having fun. When it's all business, don't nobody get nothing. So what we really do have to do a better job of preparing ourselves financially for the future. Because it don't matter which world we end up in, ain't nothing gonna be free, ain't nothing gonna be cheap. Nothing. And we can sit here and talk about who the president is, yada yada yada, and all this other stuff, and about billionaires who don't care nothing about us. at our level, we can still make our lives more livable. We can still do things that work for us. Go ahead, sir.
No, I was just gonna say, and this is a personal thought, but you know, you could apply it to other people if you think like this. But I personally would think I'm being selfish if I didn't, you know, get my finances in order and accumulate funds to leave for the next generation. So that's another thing too. You know, you want to do it for yourself, but also the people you love, the people in your inner circle. You know, you want to leave them comfortable. You know what I mean? You don't want to burden them. You know, leave them. You know, they got enough burden already. So leave them. You know, leave them with you know, with a nest egg. Leave them with something. You know.
Right. Like I say, do it just because you want people to have it is at least as good as you. Ain't nothing wrong with sharing information. I mean, people who know that when I talk so you can know what I know. You ain't gotta make the same mistake. Some of y'all can start out with an advantage. But like I said, don't be scared to listen. Don't be scared to ask questions. Just ask questions. But listen. And Lord knows, don't be scared to write stuff down. Because you ain't gonna remember everything people are telling you. Because sometimes when you get in some of this stuff, man, the information, when you talk to people who really about that, the information comes so fast and so quick. Because a lot of times they're excited to share. Most people ain't trying to be selfish with information to help other people. Because you're not taking nothing from them. No matter what we invest in, when you invest in, you're not taking nothing from me. Nothing. So I ain't got nothing to lose by telling you. Go ahead, sir.
And I was gonna just say, on that note, I wanted to just tell people, you know, me and DVP, we come up here because we want to share information and, you know, just chop it up with everybody. But if you got DVP cut me out, I think you can still hear me. If you got topics that you want us to discuss, throw them, you know, drop them in the chat, man. You know, we'll put together information and, you know, have a chat, talk about it. You know what I mean? Because this is a good platform where we can share with each other. It's a good platform where we can communicate, you know, and it's not something we don't all have to agree either. Let's not do that. Let's not get out here doing kumbaya because we don't all like the same stuff. Me and DVP talk about this a lot. We don't all like the same stuff, and we respect your right to be different on this show. You know what I'm saying? It's okay, but we can have a conversation, talk about some things in general, and you know, just air it out, and it's all good. And it's like a family. You know, we talk about it like a family.
Right, and it's just like, and this what. Biggest thing, understand, once you get that tool belt, you want as many tools on there as possible. You can have 5 or 6 flathead screwdrivers. You can have 5 or 6 Phillips. Different size, different, because they do different things. There are more people who have an opinion, especially an informed opinion, because everybody don't want to start off the same. Like I said, I start off small. I know some people who love jumping in on the deep end. They might want to jump in and invest $1,000.
Your video's off.
Is
Yeah. Well, you're not showing up on screen.
Oh yeah, I forgot. that didn't work for me. But I know people who that's what they want to do. So, but you got to figure out what worked for you, but know that there's simple ways to it. Like I said, the diversification. I started off doing one at a time. You know, then as I got a little bit better with it, and you know, my money started falling into place. Well, let me do this, let me do this, let me do that. Let me do this. See, the best thing about it, the best thing, I can't lose no more than I put in. That's the best thing. So at my level, the way I started, if I put in $50, I don't care how high I get. If it dropped back down to zero, I ain't lost nothing but my $50.
Exactly.
And that's why I wanted to start off small. See, I ain't rich like most of us think you got to do to invest. I don't need $10,000. I can't afford to lose $10,000 in one shot. I can't afford that. But I can afford to lose $100 in one shot. I could do that. So I invested at a level that was comfortable to me. Now I know people who are straight risk takers. They're going to invest more. Hey, no risk it, no biscuit. Again, you got to do what works best for you. And then just go from there. Then share. Tell people what you're learning. I say, the insurance kit came to me when I kept seeing people doing GoFundMe's. And I had 4 or 5 insurance people on here to tell you about it, man. You can get $20,000 for less than you can the Netflix. Everybody talking about Netflix and chill. So why are you doing a GoFundMe? You mean to tell me you couldn't come up with $15 a month? I'm not going for that. These are things that we can do. Oh man, 20 grand ain't no money. Well, how much you got now in the bank account? You got 6,000. So 20 grand is a lot of money. And we got to quit trying to say what ain't a lot of money. If you ain't got it in your hand, it's a lot of money. Okay? If it ain't in your hand, it's a lot of money. And it's more than you started with. Anytime you can invest $15 and get 20,000, that's a nice little, because we know what's going to happen at the end of the day. We just don't know when, but we're all going to pass away at some point. Stop leaving that burden on other people. Stop leaving it. I say, I got a house. Mo got a house. We don't want our significant others to have a house note when something happened to us. We want that to take care of the house, so they ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah,
that's a burden off of them. They're gonna have enough stuff going on with the stress and trauma that they're gonna have to deal with. They have to keep worrying about crazy ass house notes or regular bills when we could have just left them a little something, a nice little something.
And so, go ahead, DVP.
No, I was through.
Oh yeah. Because I was just gonna say that's on one end. On the other end, I just wanted to add this to what DVP was saying. On the other end, if you got kids that are at least 13, get them involved in investing, because when they become, they can get a custodial account, and you can help them with their investing and show them how to do things. And then when they turn 18, they can take it over and do it themselves. So, but that's how we got to get our start, man. I started negative in life. I had negative, and I had to kind of climb my way out of the dirt. It's not admirable. I don't wish that upon nobody. So one of the things we got to do, we got to start trying to, create legacies, get our kids invested. Why, your kid, the main factor in investing is T, and T stands for time. So the kids got, relatively speaking, the kids got a lot more time than some of us old folks. So get them kids started, get them kids going, get them kids invested, teach them about money. You know what I mean? So that way they don't have to get hogtied in this corporate United States system. You know what I mean? That they at least have some freedom, and maybe they can take a vacation every now and then, do nice things,
Tie their allowance into investment. Talk about them. Let them talk about some of the toys they got and see how much it costs to invest in some of the toys that they like.
Yeah.
Make it simple for them, and the same thing with them, because kids don't understand the value of money because they think everything is only. So you got to start teaching them, hey, even if you're cheating, you start investing money for them. Every time my daughter get a birthday, she gets some of the cash, I put some of the cash somewhere else. Because she's still a kid, she wanna play shit and she wanna buy shit. So yeah, go on and you just can't spend all of it.
Right.
You can't spend all of it. And that's the part as you're saying, we have to keep teaching each other. And let me tell you a secret. When your kids, for those out that got kids, when they have company, have a little quick conversation every now and then. Educate them, especially once they're old enough to start understanding stuff. Just give them a little quick education. Stop waiting for them to turn into adults, which by that time they've been tainted by society. See, right now you're the mentor. If you can teach them something that everybody else ain't talking about, teach them before they get the bad information. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Mo, give us a part of the shot.
Yeah, and then I was just gonna say this. We spent some time on finances, but there's the broad stroke is this, that the next generation, they need information on all types of things. They need, DVP knows the law enforcement side of things. I know the financial side of things. Other people know the health side of things. Other people know this. So we gotta get all of that information. Make sure your kids, your teens, make sure you get all that information to get it to them. And if you're still out here, and you need help and support, you know, we do that. I do that. I do it for free. So come to my page. Come get it from me. And then guess what? If you say, oh man, that dude don't know what you're talking about, it was free anyway. You know what I'm saying? All right, DVP.
So y'all know what it is. We done went way too long, way too far, but hey, that's what happens when you're having fun, and we teaching y'all in the process. If y'all got something y'all want us to talk about, shoot me an inbox either to my personal page or the Random Thoughts with DVP. Holler at Mo. Like I said, every we're gonna slip in some stocks. We're gonna slip in something about money management. Like I said, I'm gonna have some people here to talk about funerals. We're gonna do some more relationship stuff. We're supposed to get to it today. We're gonna still have fun. The point of this show is to educate you while having fun, so we don't get caught up and everybody get bored and butthurt. All right. So I just want to thank y'all for spending some time with me, especially my first timers and some of my long timers I ain't seen in a minute. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is you watching, I appreciate you. Let me come in your living room and spend a little time next week. I hope to have my background ready. And like I said, if it's something y'all want to talk about, let us know. Let us know. We here for you. This is what we do, and we're going to have fun doing it. So until next week, y'all know what it is, right? Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease. And we out.